Hey guys, welcome back. We are Paranormal Watchtower. Myself, Brandon. We got Ray over here. Welcome back again. We have a little treat for you tonight. Slightly differently than what we've been doing. If you haven't seen last week's episode with Unfortunate Travels, you're definitely going to want to go back and watch that. That was an amazing premiere and release. Tonight we are heading back a little bit. Trying to get a perspective on someone who hasn't been doing it all that long. Seems to have a good head on his shoulders. I can't wait to give him or to ask him some of the questions, like what it's like to be new again. It's been so long for me. I feel like I've forgotten what it's like to be new. But that's the downside of being old, right, Ray?
That is correct.
So, uh, anything interesting happened to you lately?
Nope. Never anything interesting happens in Nebraska, man. Like, I don't know
No.
why you ask me every time.
And well, every time I try to get something. You
Like a
know,
different cow walked across the field across the highway yesterday.
a different cow. Was it a different
Yeah.
color?
Yeah, it was a slightly different color.
Oh, was it a male cow or a female cow?
Well, a male cow is a bull, so
Well, right, but a
it was
bull is still
definitely a cow.
okay. So it was
It
running
was
from the bull. Did it have its
no,
running shoes on to get away from the bull?
no. I don't think they're got the bulls
Uh,
out with the ladies
Good.
right now.
I'm trying to give you something, man. I'm trying to give you something to go off of.
I'm trying hard over here, but it's Nebraska. Like,
There is nothing that happens in Nebraska, is there?
I mean, Carl at Subway is probably the highlight of the week here.
Oh yeah. Did you
Oh,
talk to him this week?
I haven't yet. I seen him riding his bike though. It reminded me of you.
He rides his bike to work.
Yeah, he rides
Yeah.
like 5, 6 miles. He's old.
Yeah. So
Carl,
those of
if
you
you're
who are
watching.
listening and don't know who Carl is, this I got to meet Carl in person when I went down to visit Ray in Nebraska. Went to Subway, and I'm going to make this real short. I went in there, waited a while. There was a line, and this guy was behind the counter, and I told him what I wanted, and he looks me square in the face, and he goes, "No, you don't want that. You want it like this." And he starts making it like the way he eats it, and I'm just sitting here from Wisconsin, like nobody would dare do anything like that here. You get shot here, you know. But he's just making my sandwich the whatever way he wants to make it and put it and whatever. And I'm like, and I'm looking back, and it's taken forever. Like it is taken a while for him to do this. There's a line behind me. If this was in Wisconsin, everybody in that line would be bitching and yelling.
And nobody
Nobody
said a
said a
word.
word.
Nobody
Nobody
said a
said
word.
shit. They just sat there like no big deal. This is an everyday thing. Like they almost knew he was gonna do that.
Oh yeah,
But moral of the story is when he was done with my sandwich, I ate it and it was pretty fucking good.
it's a damn good sandwich, wasn't it?
It was a good sandwich.
Carl knows.
Carl knows. Carl knows.
So, what about you? Anything exciting happening?
Well, no, not too much. Yesterday I put the mural on the Chrysler 300. That was fun. That took forever. I hate getting bubbles out. That sucks. It's not fun.
I thought it
But
looked pretty good.
yeah, well, yeah, 20 feet away, it looks perfect. Looks perfect.
Well, don't drive under 20 mile an hour, and it's gonna
Right.
look great.
Yep. Yep. Looks fantastic. Just don't stand right next to it.
I will say this: I feel sorry for our next guest because, like, he's gonna have to follow Tori,
Right.
Sam,
Right.
Kyle, and Des,
Yep.
Utah Paranormal, and of course, Unfortunate Travels last week.
Yep.
Like,
Barry
he's
and Kyle. Yep.
gonna have to
Yep.
pick his game up here.
So big shoes to fill, big shoes
Yep.
to fill. But from what I hear, he's brought some evidence with him. So we'll get to look at that. And I'm real curious as to what impressive evidence is to somebody that's only been doing it for a little while. I don't know. We'll see. I can't wait. I can't. I'd like to. I want to get some opinions on a few things just to kind of see where his head's at as far as what his future is going to be like. You know what I mean? In this field, it's very There's so many things that can throw you off, so many things that can either scare you, make you, or break you. Is basically what I'm trying to say. So let's. I think. Do you want to just jump right into it?
We will here in a second. I'll just say
Okay.
about him that, like, I started watching him quite a few months ago. Didn't have a lot of followers, but you could tell just like he's got great energy.
Okay.
He reminds me of a ghost hunter in our past that no longer is in the community, but just somebody with a lot of energy and funny to watch. Like
Okay.
I have a hard time watching a lot of investigations because they get boring, and you know how it is. It's
Right.
not the investigator's fault. It's just investigations can be boring. But just
Hmm.
the energy he brings, like it was a refreshing thing to see. So I started watching his stuff, started following him. Then I see him go to Tori's Sleeper Mortuary, a couple
Hmm.
of the other places around here, and I think he's going to end up being a good investigator.
Oh, you planning on bringing them into the fold?
I don't know about that yet. I mean, we got
We'll see. We'll see.
we'll see, but I think he's going to do good. So I'm pretty excited about this one. Get a chance to showcase one of the up and comers, and I think it's
Excellent.
because I'm a lot closer to my start of my paranormal journey than you are. You're like 50, 70 years, whereas
Yeah, yeah.
whereas
74 years into it.
74
Yeah.
years. Whereas for me, it's
Yeah.
been 5. So I can
Yeah.
kind of remember them early days when everything is awesome. Like the
Right.
smallest thing, you're like, oh yes, hell yes.
Yeah, like when the K2 lit up. Oh my God, I gotta call mom. That type of thing. Yeah. Now it's like, and
So
so
with all that being said, I think you can go ahead and introduce him.
all right. Well, those of you who don't know who our guest is, we got to start in. I think we should start letting people know who our guest is going to be.
He did it for us.
Oh, he did.
Oh
All
yeah.
right. Well, we're bringing in a guy named Jeremy who goes by Jolly from SoCo Paranormal out of Colorado. Welcome in, Jolly. How you doing?
What's up, Jolly?
Um, What's up, guys? How you guys doing tonight, man?
I'm good.
I'm doing
Good,
pretty
good.
good. Doing pretty good. You probably heard our intro, so you
I
kind of
did.
know what's coming up.
Yeah, I know that Carl's a sandwich artiste.
Yes, he
Oh,
is. He is.
Let's go.
he's above that, man. Like when anybody can just tell you no, that's not what you really want, and then make you something completely nah, and you eat it and you're like, damn, that was good. Every
Yeah.
time, man. He still
Yeah.
does it to me, and he's known me a long time.
That's awesome. That's
I'm
awesome.
wondering if I go in there and order it the way he made it last time, if he'll change it again.
Oh, probably. He'll probably have some new way he does something. The best part was when he went to the grocery store here, and the sack boy here carries out your groceries to your car, right?
Oh, you're talking about me.
Yeah, this Wisconsin
Yeah.
fool thought the grocery store dude was trying to steal his groceries.
Well, yeah, they did. This kid comes up, he takes my groceries, puts them on a cart, and starts walking off. I'm like, where the hell are you going with my groceries, man?
It
I
was
was getting ready to chase him down.
it was amazing.
That's funny.
And then they asked me if I wanted a sock. And I'm like, what in the hell are you talking about? A sock. And apparently that's what they call bags down there. If I wanted a bag
That's
to carry
funny.
my stuff, it sounded like a sock. She might have said sack,
She
but
said sack.
it sounded like sock to me. So you want a sock? I looked at Tina. I was like, "What the fuck did they just a sock?" I'm like, "I got socks on. I don't." So
You ready?
anyway,
You ready for this, Jolly?
Dude, I'm a little nervous, not gonna lie, but yeah, dude, I'm ready to rock, man. I appreciate you guys having us out here, man, and having me on here. I'm super excited, so thank you.
well, it is. You're welcome. It is a little bit different than what we've normally been doing, and we've had some pretty large names on here, pretty popular people. So we're kind of going the other direction this tonight, and I think that's cool. It brings a new perspective. So I think let's just get into it. I'm sure it'll be great,
Oh
and we'll
yeah.
have some fun.
Hell yeah.
All right, let me kick it off, man. With first off, before I ask you the main question I like to ask, go ahead and just tell us a little bit about Southern Colorado Paranormal.
So SoCo Paranormal, we started first off as Spirit Hunters 420, actually. And we started off back, actually, our first big live was Halloween of 2024. And we started off in a big old abandoned school here. And we went in thinking that, like things were going to pop off, but it was pretty cool, but didn't get too much, some good EVPs. And then other than that, man, we do a lot of like cemetery walks here lately. I've been trying to travel around the US, but really kind of Midwest right now. We've hit Iowa and Kansas and just different places. So that's really about it. We're new to the game and here to check it out.
That leads right into the next question. How long have you been investigating for?
We've been investigating for 6 months.
Nice.
Well, since October of 2024, and so, but we've hit some pretty cool locations within those 6 months. Like we
Yeah,
went
yeah.
New. Brand new.
yeah,
What got you?
brand new, brand new.
What made you decide one day you're like, you know what, I want to go ghost hunting?
So what made me start is I started watching some people on TikTok, and I was like, oh, that stuff's pretty cool, right? And so then I moved into my apartment, and I have a security camera that watches my front door and my back door. And I didn't send these over to you, so I got them just pulled up on another phone. Anyways, and maybe I can show it. If it doesn't show well, I'll just kind of talk about it. Anyways, I started catching some weird pictures on my camera, man, and because it kept notifying me that it was going off. And so, like, let me, this way. No, there we go. Sorry. Oh, you can't really see it, but do you see that long orb right there? The long white light in the middle. Anyways, I'm sorry,
Yep.
probably not. Anyways, so I caught these.
You see the big white line. It's pretty obvious.
Okay, I didn't know. My bad. And so then, anyways, we were doing some stuff, and my neighbor he started doing this a little bit ago. So there's this orb of light here. I was catching these pictures, and he was doing some ghost hunting stuff. And like I said, I had seen it on TikTok, and I grew up watching Ghost Adventures and Taps and all of this stuff, anyways. And so I told him, I was like, "Hey, dude, I have some crazy shit going on in my apartment, catching pictures and stuff. Like, bring in some of your stuff, and we'll check out stuff here." Anyway, so we went into my apartment and we started asking questions, and it started setting off the cat balls, and it started turning on my oven light, turning it on and off. And this is all on camera as well. I have them clipped. So that's what actually got me started. Because once I started getting true responses and not just seeing it Hollywood style TikTok or anything like that, and it was real, I said, hell yeah, let's go and do this.
Have you gotten a clear EVP? Like
Have I ever
on a
got, yeah,
spirit
as
box,
so
or not on a spirit box, just like on a recorder?
yeah, man. It was one of the clips that I had sent to you. We were actually with Spooky. We were doing it was my first big investigation ever, and at this time we were a team of four, and we were the first team to investigate at Haunted Sleeper Mortuary with at Tori's place. And so we were actually there with a couple teams, and Spooky Okie Paranormal or Spooky Okie, and then Paranormal Family or Family Paranormal. They were doing some EVPs, and we kind of came in and crashed their party type of status. We didn't know who they were. They didn't really know us. And so there was like 10 of us though. And so I asked them, of course, if it was cool for us to sit in here and check them out. Cause we had never actually done like true EVPs at this time or anything like that. And so we had actually sat in a group of 10 of us. There was 10 of us there. And so we started asking the same question, but kind of in different ways or the same question. And by the time we were getting to the fourth person, we were getting clear as day EVPs coming from this doll that Spooky Oki was holding. So whether that doll was used as a vessel or there's a spirit like attached to that doll, or if the spirits of Haunted Sleeper Mortuary are using that doll to maybe communicate with, or they know people are attracted to that. So maybe, but I got a clip, clear as day EVPs, as well as we've gotten some really good EVPs out of Garnett House and Haunted Sleeper Mortuary as well.
That first EVP is just like it sends shivers up your spine. Like, I don't know, it's so crazy that first time you hear a voice on a recording.
It really is, and not only that, it gets you so excited. You know what I'm saying? Like you really like. There's nobody else talking, and that voice is coming from something you guys are asking it, and yeah. So yeah, it just gets me all jazzed up, and I get all excited.
Let me cut in for a minute. I do have some questions. Obviously, first of all, you've gotten EVPs, and being that you're 6 months into it, you should probably be picking some of them up, even at random. But how often would you say? Well, how often would you say that you get, um, without a doubt, real evidence beyond the shadow of a doubt that it's ghost activity?
Mm. I would say that I can.
And there is no wrong answer.
No, no, yeah, I think I actually think about this a lot. So I guess I can go into it with this way. I think that um, any evidence that I'm producing on my channel, or I'm claiming that's paranormal, it's something that I 100% believe it's something that can't be like explained. Everything that I do is on live. It's on TikTok. So if my chat calls BS or anything like that, I try to debunk everything on site, right there with everybody there. I don't ever try to gain clout. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to do anything to get the likes or the follows. Like, I want you to see the real deal shit, because I truly want to find that myself. Like, I don't want to bring things. So, like if something's moving, I try to debunk it. If I believe that it's vibration setting off a cat ball, I'll move the cat ball. I will ask it to set off different color lights. I use the flux a lot. And so I'll ask it different questions to make sure that it's showing me that there's intelligence there and not almost just residual or some form of energy that's causing something to happen.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm actually glad to hear you say some of that, because a lot of people come into it thinking that it's an overnight sensation. You're going to be rich and famous in a week, and that's and it's nice and refreshing to see that you're fairly new, but yet you're already, that you need to debunk things and you need to do. But let as if you don't mind, I'd love to offer you a little bit of advice.
Please.
Uh, um, when you're doing it, keep doing what you're doing. Keep uh debunking things. I hate that word debunked, but anyways, everybody uses it, so I have to. But don't worry about followers and fame and all of that, because that'll come. If you keep doing and giving them real evidence, your following will come without trying.
Right.
So,
Well,
just
I appreciate that. And any
yeah.
evidence or any advice that you or Ray might have, man, please spit at me, because, like you said, I am new, and I'm open to criticism, good or
Mhm.
negative. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm open, and it's like I said, we're hungry, man, and we're gonna, like, I want to see some cool shit. Like, that's the whole reason why I'm still doing this is I've seen it once, and I've been lucky. In my opinion, I've been very blessed with some of the things that I've been able to capture on camera. And so, like, I just want to keep it coming, man. I can feel the energy, like, whenever I'm there, like, it feels great. And so, like, I just want to show people the cool stuff that's out there and just bring them some of the best paranormal evidence that you can see in real lifetime.
You're so excited. I love it. I love it. So, and one more thing before we go back to Ray, um, just out of curiosity, out of my own morbid curiosity, like what equipment is your go-to? Like, I'm not asking you to rattle off every piece of equipment you have, because if
I
somebody
won't.
asked me that, I'd tell them to go piss up a rope, because I've got so much that I'm not even going to get into it. But what's your go-to? Like if you're having a slow night, and then what equipment do you go to that you think is going to give you or make something happen or bring something out or bring hype up the spirit to be able to talk to you? What's your go-to?
So my go-to equipment, it's called the Flux 2. It's a yes/no response device. And so that's my go-to if like
Familiar.
I'm wanting to get something, or if I'm trying to see if there's something really there, because then that lets me test the intelligence as well, because it's got the green and it's got the red. And so then if it lights up any color, I ask it to always try to light up the other color. And sometimes it don't, sometimes it does. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it always
Right.
hits for me, but
Yeah.
that's my go-to, because I think with if I can get a response off of the Flux to my necrometer or my I don't know, another piece of device. You know what I'm saying? It comes at like in that wave. You get a yes, and then an orb in your video or whatever. Like to me, that's pretty good
Oh,
evidence
oh,
of being
don't worry.
something.
We're gonna be talking about orbs with
Yeah.
you shortly.
Okay.
We're gonna squash that bug in a minute.
Orbs.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. I don't. I'm not. I'm not. I don't want to pop anybody's balloons yet, but we'll get to it.
Cool. No, yeah, and that's it because if I, yeah, absolutely, I'm excited to see
Yeah,
because there's
just
things.
and and I know you're so excited about it, but it's like just settle down a little bit about them because there's a lot of explanations that could be creating these so-called orbs, but we'll get to
For
that.
sure. Yeah, we'll
We'll
talk about it.
we'll get to that. So, Ray, do you want to go? Otherwise, I got a couple more.
I think I want to watch a video real quick though. Let's
All
throw
right.
one in,
So you got some
and then you can
evidence that
go.
you brought for us. You sent a
Yeah.
bunch. This is Ray's pick out of your footage, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've cut it down a little bit just to shorten the time.
Okay. Well, let's see it.
All right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Let's see it.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Jolly.
Nice to meet you, Spirit.
Oh,
and the
shit.
cat ball going up.
That's
What?
inside the glass.
He was just saying that was making noise earlier too. When you
It was
walked
making
over there.
noise earlier. It
creaky.
was like
freaky.
it was like rattling. Guys, do you guys remember that chat when I was saying that when I was looking at? Oh, it's going off again, bro.
Oh my gosh, let's go. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for the welcome and thank you for welcoming me here. He always comes.
Died suddenly.
I died suddenly.
Is this Charles or is Child? Man, I get excited, dude, and start fucking popping questions, bro. The
Yeah,
Spirit's
yeah.
like, shut the fuck up, dude. You know what I'm saying?
That one's hilarious.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
pretty funny. You can tell that you're enjoying what you're doing. I like that. I like that.
I love it. I love it.
It's fun to see someone get excited over a cat ball. I miss those days. I really do. I miss
So the cool
those.
thing is like with that one, we didn't even know that the cat ball was in that case. It just started going off out of nowhere. So that, and no, I do. I still get excited over the cat
Yeah.
balls. I'm not. I get excited.
Hey, no,
I
it's
still-
great. I wish I did. I wish I got excited over cat balls and little stuff like that. But you grow numb to it to where you gotta have more and more and more and more.
100%.
It's like
Like
So,
we're at the
yeah.
stage we want to be picked up and thrown against the wall, the window.
well, we're not
Yeah,
talking
that-
about our ladies. We're talking about us.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there now.
Yeah, you're getting there quick. Like you've gone to some pretty cool places. That was
So-
at McIntyre, right?
Yeah, that was at the McIntyre Villa.
Okay. So when you jumped in, you kind of jumped in with both feet. Do you do any of the old school equipment? Like, do you use any kind of recording devices or spirit boxes, anything like that?
Yeah, so I just actually bought it's not the SB7. I want the SB7, but I have like the Spirit Box 2. And then I have Spirit Boxes, and then I have the Salmon Kobe. It's just like almost just like the SB7, but it's super quiet. I'm not a big fan. Sorry, I probably shouldn't have said that.
That's okay. That's all right.
And so it was just a cheap piece that I was recommended, and it works good. Anyways, but other than that, I use like the Necrophonics, the Spiritus, and just use those as a type of spirit box as well. Whenever I go out to investigations, when I collab with people, I try to utilize like the SB7.
Okay, that's good. That's a great start. It's a great spirit box to start with. That was my first spirit. Well, no, that was my second spirit box. I think it was the SB7. And then if you ever want to upgrade from there, the next step would be the SB11, which you'll come to find out that the SB7 is very quiet to a point where you almost need a speaker on it.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what
The
Connor was
new
doing.
SB7.
Yeah.
The new SB7's pretty loud.
Oh, is it? Do you have the new version of it then, or do you have the original?
I've got both. I have two of them, and the newer one is a lot better.
Okay, because that's the whole reason that they came out with the
It's
SB11.
not SB11 loud, but
No,
it's loud
okay,
enough you can have it up by your.
yeah, it was the main difference between the two is the double channel
Yeah,
and the built-in amplifier, so it's super loud compared to the SB7.
myself, I prefer the SB7.
And see,
That and
I'm
that's
a
what
I'm
I
a
think.
I'm an 11 guy. Ever since I learned it, it was intimidating at first, and then I learned it and got used to it, and that's all I use now is the SB11. And I remember when Amy, paranormal Amy, was just got hers, I had to show her how to use it, and then she took off with it, and that's all she uses now.
I don't
Right.
think I get mine out very much. If I'm gonna be sitting somewhere for a while, then I'll take it. But
Mhm.
if I'm walking around doing a bunch of stuff, I want that 7.
So, Dolly, you did say that you use Necrophonic, so you're into the apps part of it.
Yes.
So Necrophonic is one that gets a lot of hate. It gets a lot of hate from a lot of people. A lot of us old school people hate Necrophonic. They think it's all bullshit. But I did prove to myself, without a doubt, that it can work. And I don't know, you probably haven't known me long enough to see that video, but I was running a portal box and I was running Necro through a portal box, and I was asking them. I wrote a number down on a piece of paper, folded it up, put it down in front of it, and told them to tell me what I wrote. And they were saying there were a few numbers coming through, which even if they're not right, is still impressive that they
Right.
were saying a number because that means they understood me and they were intelligent. But not only did they say very shortly after I gave him shit, I'm like, hey, I could pull out the SB11 and these spirits can tell me no problem. What's your problem? And then he got pissed off and he yelled 4, and it was the number 4. I unfolded it right live and held it up to the screen and it said number 4. And then I said, who said it? And then they gave me the name of one of my haunted dolls at the time.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. So that's it. I have no doubts that Necrophonic can work. I'm not saying everything you hear from Necrophonic is going to be a ghost, but
100%.
you can get real evidence through an app. Absolutely. Um, what other just out of curiosity, what other apps do you use besides Necrophonic?
So whenever I'm on TikTok, I'll try to go through so there's a lot of people that like apps, there's a lot of people that don't, right? But so
Right.
when you're running through TikTok, you got some people that will call some apps bullshit, the other ones not. So I
Right.
downloaded them, pretty much all of them, right?
Okay.
And so then if somebody wants to see a certain type of app, I play that app for them and I'll play it through for a little bit. Some apps seem to work better than others as well. And I don't know why that is. Maybe some is programmed a little bit better. I don't know.
Well,
Um,
see, that's where you get caught up because if you focus on the programming part of it, then it's not real. If the real responses shouldn't matter what app you're using, you're going to get the real response. You understand where I'm going with this?
yeah,
This
for
It's
sure. But
the spirit that talks through it. It's not you're not trying to control the app itself.
100%. But so whenever you're using like the necrometer or necrometer, how do you? Okay, just real quick, and I'm new. How do you pronounce that? Is it necrometer or necrometer?
Necrometer.
Necrometer. Very good. Okay. And so I think that when you get something like a name, right? So it might come through as Harvey because it's whenever I'm talking about the program, like so with the necrometer, it has the certain sequences that's lined up for the EMF to come through and set off whatever it's wanting the word to give. So
Right.
it's already pre-programmed with certain letters to start that word out. So what I'm saying is if the word comes through as Harvey, but his name might be Harold, there's a little bit different. So I think that there can be miscommunication for sure within the app of on whenever you're using that. Now, whenever you're using the SB7, the SB11, the S-Box 2, even my opinion, the necrophonics, you're not going to get that stuff. Like what you get is what you're going to get coming through. Sometimes on the necrophonics, you're running it through the stations, and so you might get the talking or something like that. But for the most part, like with it's not like the necrophonics isn't pre-programmed like the necrometer or the spirit talker or those. Like, so that's why I go with, like, if I'm sitting down to do my investigation, I'll go with like Spiritus or the SB7, something like that, that's going to give me, in my opinion, a true response.
I'll have to send you a message after this, and I'll let you in on a little secret.
Okay.
I'll get you one to use.
That would be amazing. Thank you.
Once you use this, you'll never go back. Trust me.
Okay.
I dabble with apps once in a while. I'm not gonna lie. I do it. I'll play with it. And there's one that just blows my mind. Like, unbelievable, clear responses. And if you see some of my videos, you'll see the comments. How do you get it so clear and this and that? And if it's not the spirit box or the portal machine, it's the app doing it, and it's just super clear. But I'll hook you up.
Hell yeah, I appreciate that for real.
Yeah.
What I was saying was I like necrophonic. Like, that's, if I got to use an app, it's always going to be necrophonic, and that's just because that's what I started with, and I can understand it a lot better than if I just started using a different app.
Oh, I'm just so glad. I was hoping he wasn't gonna say that other app.
You thought he was going to say GhostTube.
I did. I thought for sure he was gonna go right to GhostTube, and I'm like, oh God, please don't say GhostTube.
No, so I do like one, and it's just for shits and giggles. You know what I'm saying? I do TikTok, but it's the Ghost Seer. It's and it does the ding dang, it gives you the picture up on your phone. And
It does the ding dang.
ding dang, yeah. That's what I say whenever the picture comes through. Do you know what I'm saying? So but yeah, that one's just for fun though, and you know what I mean. Like, it's
Yeah.
cool though.
Yeah. Okay. That's all right. This is fun. I didn't think this was gonna be fun. This is fun.
See, you just got to trust me more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know I'm not telling you any more jokes, but
No. I mean, if they're good, tell
oh my God, here we go.
All right, you want to see another piece of evidence?
Yeah, hell yeah, I want to see another one.
Let's go.
All right, this one is called, oh, I'm not going to say it because it'll give it away. Just watch.
This place is absolutely fucking nuts, man. Thanks for the follow, guys. I appreciate you. Like rotting? Did you smell it like rotting down there?
Rotting.
Yes,
It's
Joy.
awful rotting. It might be still.
The ball just fell on me. Yeah, baby! The ball just fell on me. And you said that it was rotting, bro. Let's fucking go.
You have it on tape?
Huh?
Were you filming me?
Yeah, I filmed you fucking almost shit your pants. That's awesome, dude.
Oh my God.
Bud, let's go.
Where was that?
Right up here, bro. I had it on camera.
That clip's awesome. It's one of my favorites.
So funny. That was a great reaction he had. And then to have Jolly give us the shit his pants.
That was raw, natural reaction, man. And so I was actually filming with Connor Blaine, who's turned into a good friend of mine, and plan on doing some more filming with him. But at that time, he said that he didn't realize that it was the ball that had fallen on him. He thought that he was being grabbed up by a spirit, man. But I'll say this, the cool thing about this clip before I go in talking about it was when we came in, we first started filming a little bit for his YouTube channel. And we were going on there and we were talking about it, and he was like, you can do anything you want to me, and I was like, well, fucking throw something at him then, like do something crazy. And that night he ended up getting the ball, like not initially thrown at him, but went at him 2 different times. So I thought that was pretty freaking dope.
Be careful what you wish for.
100%. I've gotten that the past couple of times in my investigations, and I sent one clip, but I can talk about the other ones that we asked for some shit and we got it.
Yeah.
That was funny.
So, but yeah, with that clip, he was just standing out there. So I don't know if you guys have ever investigated at the Garnett House. So that's the Garnett, they call it the Garnett Demon House. And that's what I've investigated at this place twice now.
Where is that
And
located?
it's in Garnett, Kansas. It's actually the last known antebellum structure there. So it's where John Brown had kept the slaves. And so we believe that there's like a whole theory behind it. I won't get into that now, but like there's the Grinner that's called the Grinner that's known at the Garnett House. And I go there and I call this thing out twice now. And we've gotten some responses and some good responses, but Garnett's a different feeling. But this one, they have so they have dolls that sit everywhere. They have balls that sit everywhere. That's pretty much, it's there to be knocked over. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Set up.
so yeah, absolutely. And so we have on many times though on camera that ball was sitting up exactly where it was at. And we even put it back there and it came from there twice on us that night. Um, and and then the rest of the night it stayed there perfectly fine. So it wasn't anything that was being bumped or moved, or we could jump and stomp and it wouldn't fall down. So something pushed it down for sure.
Right. Right.
There's a part of this too that even here, man, I'll tell you where I think some BS on calling some things out, because I think that things were being done not done in the video. It wasn't done purposely or anything like that. But how many times this cat ball goes off, it's definitely not paranormal every single time. You know what I'm saying? But at times it definitely was. But in the Estes method, it'll prove to you that it was paranormal.
Well,
That would-
I look forward to seeing this Estes method because I've seen a lot of them. I've done them lots of times. I've done double Estes methods lots of times. Ray was with me the first time we did it. But I've also seen a lot of Estes methods that were obviously faked, or the person could hear the questions, or I've seen people screaming questions at the person that's supposed to not hear them. So there's lots of things that can manipulate that, but I'd love to see it so we can check it out.
Yeah,
Let's hope
yeah, yeah.
Great one. Like I said, I had to edit it down just for time. I just said,
Okay, let's play again without my camera falling.
just it.
How many fingers am I holding up?
Yeah.
Can you say this number? 3.
Who's holding the
I
camera?
have full body chills right now. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh 3. Oh my god. It just said it again. It just said it again. No. No.
Cat
Oh
ball.
my god. That might be some of the greatest evidence I've ever caught on camera.
Was that the one
See,
you were talking about?
that's a really good response. Almost makes me think he kind of heard it. You know what I mean? I don't know how loud it is in his headphones, but if he didn't hear it, that's awesome response.
I was the one under Estes.
Yeah, he was the one on the.
And nobody
Okay.
said a number. Nobody said a number. He asked what number I'm holding up.
Yeah. And he
Oh,
was,
so you didn't hear him then?
No, I can't hear him because at this time he was using his SB7 and his Beats noise canceling headphones. I couldn't hear shit. And I'm not gonna lie,
Nice.
on my J Labs, like you have to be standing pretty good distance away and you gotta ask quietly. On his SB7 and his Beats, I couldn't hear nothing.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That is a really good response.
right.
But I think that the cat ball might have been from all the ruckus.
Yeah, for
when he
sure.
got
And
excited.
and so when you watch the video of us at Haunted Sleeper Mortuary, because this doesn't show it, it has like a cat ball count, and it's like 25 times or something like that. And so that's where I'm saying no, it wasn't that many times. I think because you can watch when you watch the video, it's actually going off sometimes with my vocals. And then but at times it was going off not during that time. And then finally, what made me know that the cat ball was being touched by something was through that whole time there was another cat ball sitting on the other side of me, and it didn't go off but maybe once, maybe once or twice. And to me, that's a more realistic type of thing. When you ask something to do it, like, that's more realistic than getting something to hit 25 times.
Right.
So
Right.
that's just where I'm at. But yeah, no, that Estes method
Mm-hmm.
was absolutely crazy. And even at a point, I don't know if I sent you this clip, Ray. Um, did I send you the clip of where I said it was touching the back of my neck?
I don't remember that one.
Oh no, so it was during that same Estes method. And this is just as much as you can believe the investigator, right? Yeah, that's
Right.
where
And
that's
that's
where this is really at.
yeah,
Okay.
and
And
that's the whole. It's all that every Estes method is like that. You know what I mean?
100%. And it's like I say, and I tell my chat this too. I'll shoot this shit straight 100% because I don't want anybody. I'm not out there to show false stuff.
Right. Awesome.
And so there was at that time he said, just go and touch Jolly, just touch him. And it was maybe a couple seconds later that it felt as like something was, and I've only been touched maybe once or twice during an investigation. I've seen some crazy scratches, but I've only been touched twice myself personally. And this felt like it was something that was touched in the back of my neck, but it was like, when somebody tries to touch you sexy, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like they're trying to let you know that they're there, but not really, just a little. Yeah, dude, that's what it was, up from like the collar of my shirt, like up into the back of my hair. One of the craziest feelings I've ever had in my life.
Ray, does that remind you of my kitchen story?
Right. I've
Yeah.
always considered it feels like a spider web with a little bit of electricity when you get touched.
Okay, yeah,
Shock.
there we go.
It's
I'm being
something. Well,
scratched.
yeah.
Being
Like
scratched.
if you walk through a spider web or something, it can feel like that, but other times it will feel like a hand and fingers.
Yeah,
Like
so
I haven't had the hand and fingers yet.
yeah.
I apologize. I'm just not a spider guy, so I'll just go with the sexy thing. You know what I'm saying?
You will just stick with that.
Yeah,
That sounded better.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got from you here.
What?
I think this is you.
Is it talking to me? Oh my gosh, guys.
About time.
Look at this. It called me by fucking name.
Is that your first time?
Yeah. Yeah, first time, especially Jolly, and I don't think it's ever been done again. So yeah, that was pretty absolutely crazy in my mind. Um, and we talked about the apps thing, and like, just my honest opinion, you guys are, you got more experience than I do. So I'm more like a 70-30% on the apps. You know what I'm saying? I think about 70% of what you get coming through apps is, maybe a legit response if you take all the apps that I use. I named the ones that I had utilized. And so I think with that, but then I think about 30% of it's bullshit, or it's something that was asked a long time ago, or something that's just coming through, like I was saying, like that's trying to tell you something but can't get that exact word across. And so that's why I say that the other 30% is wrong. But this Jolly, um, that one got me, first time that it said my name. And I've had Jeremy come across a couple times, but Jolly, this was it. And not it was cool because that's what I go by.
Yeah. So Ray, I'm gonna ask you, where are you at as far as what you think comes through an app is real and what's not? Like what's your percentage?
Man, it really depends on the app for me. For something like that or goes to, I'd be like maybe 5%.
So you're 5%. So 95% bullshit
Right.
and 5% real. Okay. No matter what, and this is just my view,
Yeah.
but in my perspective, 99.9% is bullshit. And that 0.1% could possibly be real. And the reason I say that is just because of all the times that I've used them, and versus how many times I actually got something that was believable to a point where there's no way it could have been, programmed.
And I think what I'd say to you, Jolly, is as you're going along, like let's say in 2 years, you're gonna look back on some of these apps and you're gonna be like, that
Yeah.
wasn't it.
Right.
It took me a long time to move off of that. Like,
And that's okay.
uh,
And we're not, that's okay to
oh,
feel that way.
fine.
Absolutely.
It,
I wish I could be as excited about some of the stuff.
right.
Right, for sure. So I'll say this, and I don't have clips of this. We did it on a live, so I mean I know that it was witnessed. So my partner is Randy. He's like a historian for my team. He's just super intelligent, and he researches everything to the core. And so he was calling bullshit on the apps as well. And I'm like, cool, I don't mind that at all. You can call bullshit on the apps all you want. You know what I'm saying?
So,
Like everybody has their own experiences with their own stuff. And I know what you're saying about the BS. But so I handed over the necrometer to him, and we were sitting there. And so just a quick story. So we go to this cemetery up here that a Mason was buried. He was a very wealthy doctor Mason, and he was buried. Um, so he died September 30th, but his tombstone says September 31st. So why a wealthy Mason was that like that? So it's a big conspiracy in my hometown. So then we're at this other cemetery in my hometown. It's called Lakeside. And so I hand him over the necrometer. And the night before we were talking about this Mason that had the wrong stone and everything like this. And it's literally about 10 minutes till midnight. And I hand over the necrometer to my partner Randy, and we got through the necrometer probably about 5 or 6 times. Andrew wants to talk to you. Andrew has a message for you. 12 o'clock, right? And so we kept getting Andrew, and it would not stop. And so we're just walking through, and about 2 minutes till midnight, no bullshit, my buddy Randy takes his flashlight and he's just shining on graves. And we find this guy named Andrew, and he was a lieutenant colonel in the military back in the Civil War. And he actually had died the day previous, and they had his date wrong. And it was the day that we were investigating. They had his date wrong on his tombstone, and it was an Andrew. So with that,
Good. That's pretty good.
that's nuts, man. And so then after that, he was like, all right, Jolly. All right, Jolly. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I said, do I think that some of the bullshit that comes through it? Absolutely. I do. And I don't run with that. But I do think that if you get the same name coming through there that has a message for you or something like that, I do believe that there is something there that's and that was probably one of my craziest stories too. Like that one was cool. It happened on live. And like I said, he was a skeptic with it at first, and then after that night he was no longer a skeptic, because it was almost like it was talking directly to him, because I do believe that he said that he was a skeptic that night as well.
it's good to be skeptical, though.
100%.
Use Brandon's favorite word and debunk everything. Like, even though I don't buy into a lot, and the apps I don't like are the word bang more. And like Brandon's even heard me say this. You've heard of the super popular Ovilus, right?
Yeah.
This thing's expensive. To me, all it is ghost tube in a box. So like that
Fuck.
device doesn't.
Come on, dude.
Oh, I'm telling
No.
It's
No, I can't believe
when
you said that.
when you break down the
Oh.
programming inside Ghost Tube and the Ovilus, it's almost the same thing.
Oh
It's
my
a
God.
word bank,
Blasphemy.
different magnetic wave level.
Oh my God.
I'll say it every time.
Oh, well, we
Every
definitely
time.
have a difference of opinion there.
Oh yeah. Now that's why I like with necrophonic, there's no words in it. It's just noises. And
Absolutely.
I've torn apart the sound banks. There's no words. And when you hear the lady, she kind of screams. She's like, that's just letting you know the sound bank's actually restarting. So, like, when you hear that, it used to freak me out. I was like, oh shit, there's a lady yelling. Well, come to find out, that just is the end of the sound bank and it's restarting. So like you'll actually start to hear the pattern with those things. And so you'll be able to tell, like, I used to always think it was saying like bye or something, but I heard it so many times that I could tell that it was the same thing. Like every 10 minutes it would pop up. So I've learned to cancel those out and just try, like when it starts making sentences at you, that shouldn't be possible with that app.
100%, dude.
And it does it sometimes. It's kind of crazy. It's hard to explain. That's just my personal opinion on the sound bank versus the word bank. Why I don't trust the Ovilus, why I don't trust goes to, you know, and you can add words to some of those yourself. So I could put Ray in, and then all of a sudden, the ghost tube saying Ray.
As soon as they did that, upgrade, I was out.
It was
I was
bad.
out.
Shit,
Because
I
then
see.
you
And
got
that's sorry.
people in there putting their name in it, saying, you know, John is great or something like that, and that constantly pops up
I won't
throughout the
fool
night.
you. No, it got so stupid.
Yeah, that's where I cut off that one. I was like, nope, no more.
Yeah, see, and I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah,
Even
that's good. That's good.
yeah, I had no idea that
Um,
you could even do that.
do you use REM pods at all?
I do. So I don't have the actual like a true REM pod. I just
Okay.
so I have one, like it's like a little box that it works as a REM pod, and
Mhm.
then a team Forever Investigating Beyond, they make paranormal equipment, and so then they made me. Well, it's a response device, but yeah, no, I don't have like a true REM pod.
Well,
The original.
those devices can be set off by multiple different things.
And
Your
so
cell phone is one of them. A lot of people I've seen, I laugh so hard. I saw a guy walking around with his cell phone or with his REM pod in his hand and his phone in his other hand, and he was walking around like this. Oh my God, it's going off over here. Oh my God, it's going off again. I'm like, yeah, so it's because your phone is 2 feet from your REM pod. But
yeah, for
you
sure.
know, do you ever use? Well, I don't know if you've gotten to this point yet, but walkie talkies.
No, I don't. So I won't use walkie-talkies because it'll
Okay,
set off equipment, and I
right,
don't ever want anybody to be able to say that we faked anything. So just,
right.
well, and because so there was one time here. Let me turn on some lights here. It's getting dark. I apologize. We were going to do another. We are going to do the mortuary and Garnett, and so I was talking to my team, and I talk about everything pretty much that I'm going to do on live. I kind of just run it by everybody because I don't really know what I'm doing to a degree. And so I was saying, like, we were going to buy some walkie talkies so we could talk with each other. And somebody
Mhm.
told me in my chat that it could set off some equipment. So from there on, dude, SoCo Paranormal won't ever have walkie talkies.
Well, and don't. I'm going to tell you from experience. Don't write them off just yet,
Okay.
because when you are in a group and you are in a big area that's outside, and you're live or whatever, you can't use your cell phone. If you do need to get a hold of another part of your group, you're going to want that walkie-talkie.
Yeah,
You
true.
just have
True
to
statement.
mark it. Okay, well, common sense tells you that if your walkie-talkie's going off and somebody's telling you something, if your equipment goes off at the exact same time, just cancel that out. That's not real. You can't count that as real evidence. You know what I mean? But I
Absolutely.
definitely think you should reconsider having them on board.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, that's good advice, and I like that. And even almost say like, okay, I'm turning on the walkie-talkie. I gotta contact
Yep.
whoever. You know what I mean? And just
Yep.
like if something goes off,
Yep.
dismiss it.
Yep. So, and just a one little something that I picked up along the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate that because I've always just kind of been a little scared because, like I said, you do, it's like because I do go live for everything that I do, and so then it's one of those things. Like I want to make sure that people know that it's real,
Right.
right? And
Right.
so I don't ever want it to come back like, oh, Jolly uses walkie talkies, and he never said. So it's just never went with
Oh,
us, and I
yeah,
don't.
I don't think you need to worry too much about that because most people that investigate do have walkie talkies from time to time.
Right.
I mean, I do. I have probably 4 different sets.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, that's great to know because like I've heard about you and I've been in your live a couple times as well, and so I mean I trust your judgment and what you're telling me. So that's obviously why I came on the podcast too. So I appreciate any kind, like I said, any kind of advice or anything that you could.
Hey, and I used to do like I'm open, like especially if anybody has any questions as far as what if you ever want my opinion on anything, send me a message, man. I'm happy to answer anything that you have. I've helped out a lot of people, and I think even if I can't get you know the best evidence that I'm looking for or whatever, even if I can help other people do it, that's okay with me. You know what I mean? I'm good
Heck
with
yeah,
that.
that's absolutely,
So
absolutely.
so but I do get a great evidence too. I get that too,
Right.
but yeah, it's an honor to be able to help people and be acknowledged for, hey, I learned this from Brandon. You know what I mean? That's
Absolutely.
awesome. I love that. I love that. So yeah, anytime you need help, just reach out. I love helping other investigators. So
I appreciate that greatly.
yeah.
See a haunted doll.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the clip that I was talking about with the EVP.
That
Okay.
I don't know. It just says haunted doll. You're
Yeah. This is it.
Can you please tell us your name?
Would love to know what your name is.
How old are you, Jackson?
Would love to know.
Jackson, do you want a tour of the house?
Would you like to go on a tour of the house?
I might have to jack that up. I can hear it in my head.
Okay, I heard it. No, I heard it at the end. It said Jackson.
Yeah.
But it's very it very could be because I mainly because it said Jackson on the screen, so that's when I heard it.
Yes, and so actually, and so we had gotten a name of Jackson. We had got a clear EVP of it saying 12. We got a clear EVP of it saying that, like when we were asking it if it wanted to go on a tour, it said tour. And then at one point, it literally, no bullshit, sounded like something jumped down and then little feet ran across the floor. And
Yeah,
you can hear
hear
it
a lot
clear as day.
better. I could hear it better in the video you sent me than what that played. So I'll try to cut the podcast and enhance it and throw it in there so that
Yeah,
the way that's
that was
watching can
cool.
hear. Because with headphones on, I could hear all that. I don't know if you and Brandon could though. You want me to play it again?
I mean, I couldn't hear the EVPs, but and I'm sure that that's how they caught them was through. But we were. This is actually no, that's not how we caught them. They were just sitting there running the note, like it was something on. I think it was on their iPhone. It was like a little EVP recorder device on their iPhone, and we were just sitting there and asking questions. And so we would sit there, and we all 10 of us would ask that question, or in a different format, and we'd go back and listen. And seriously, by about the third or fourth person, we were getting a response 100%.
I definitely heard the Jackson pretty clearly. Like I
And
want
then
to enhance that one.
yeah, and then check it out. Really listen at the end of that clip, and you can hear the little feet running across the floor. That creeped me out a little bit.
I heard like a loud bang.
Yeah, it's a bang, and then listen to right after that. You can hear the little feet going right across.
Let me play it again.
Yeah.
Can you please tell us your name?
Would love to know what your name is.
How old are you, Jackson?
Would love to know.
Jackson, do you want a tour of the house?
Would you like to go on a tour of the house? Would love to know what your name is.
But why is there a cut in the middle of the clip?
I couldn't tell.
It seems quite obvious that it was cut and trimmed in the middle of that clip.
Oh, so because with that, like I was saying, so at that moment in time, we were going through and there was 10 people asking the exact same question. So they were probably catching the EVP because that clip's not made by me. It was made by somebody else. And I was just sending that because we were there during that EVP session. It was just super cool. So they were probably just catching the EVPs and then clipping them together.
Well, that's just okay.
No,
Okay.
go ahead and say your thought.
Well, no. It's harder to believe unless you have like the full clip. You know what I mean? For future reference, try to make at least the least amount of edits that you can, because when you replay it, you want the question, even if there's 10, 15 seconds in between, let that run,
Right.
because that adds validity to the whole thing. Because as soon as you put a cut in there, it throws it all away, and people are going to call bullshit.
100%. And so that, like I said, I didn't make that clip. Everything that I ever drop clip wise is raw footage of what I did.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's bullshit. I'm saying
Yeah.
it's people are going to say that because everybody's skeptic. You know what I mean?
100%. 100%.
And I'm just trying to help you out for the future. You know,
Every video he sent me was a minute long.
Yeah.
I shortened them down.
Oh, so maybe it was you.
I didn't clip those.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just it's you get what I'm saying, right? You understand?
100%. And that's why I like to drop my raw footage. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. And even if I wasn't there in that session, I can see what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, but I was sitting there and I was with the group. And so then I know that, what went through, but
I can't tell you how many times I've said that.
Yeah,
Hey,
no,
I was
100%.
there. You weren't there. You don't even believe it, but it's like you if you're trying to show it off as evidence, you really got to have the whole thing.
100%. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah. So, what else you got, Ray? You got another clip?
I got two more.
Two more clips. Then I can give them shit about orbs or not? Or am I not allowed to?
No, you're totally allowed to give me shit about orbs, bro.
All right.
Yeah, because if it's not what I'm seeing, then tell me, because like I try to pretty much like say, if it's a bug or something like that. So if you can see that, let me know.
Yeah, there's just certain things that I can suggest that you look for
100%
before you call out an orb per se.
Okay. Because I think I know the clip you're talking about, and if I didn't see it manifest with my own eyes, it's a little different. So, but
no,
absolutely.
I'm just talking orbs in general. I haven't even seen your footage yet.
Oh, you haven't seen none of these?
No, I haven't seen any of these clips.
Let's go. That makes me excited, dude. Come on. All right. I didn't know that. I didn't know that you hadn't seen these. I didn't know you hadn't seen these clips.
No, I always tell Ray I don't want to see it because I want an honest reaction. I want to give you my honest reaction.
Yes, I dig it.
Yeah.
You guys missed all that shit I just went through. The podcast watchers will see it, but you guys missed it.
Well, what the hell did you do?
Don't fucking worry about it.
I ain't gonna fucking worry about it. I don't worry about nothing.
Sunday. It was funny for me. All right, now
I guess we'll see it on Sunday.
You'll see it Sunday. Here we go.
Another orb. This is it. Oh, straight up, dude. Nope. I just seen somebody walk behind that door.
It wasn't even up. Oh, there we go.
So the last part of it's a vape.
Oh.
So that's the one I told you. So, but the crazy thing about that whole clip, man, is I swear with my own eyes, I seen a man in a suit walk behind that door, and it didn't go up the stairs. It didn't go up into the flower room. It didn't elevate. It walked across the hallway. So in the sleeper mortuary, I call it walking down the
Well,
Wonderland.
before you get into it, let Ray play that again.
Okay.
But play it from the beginning because the first 5 seconds I was looking at Jolly. I couldn't see the footage.
All right. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Here we go.
Another orb. Oh, straight up, dude. I just seen. Nope. I just seen somebody walk behind that door.
Now, before you explain, what I saw right away was it looked like the traditional ghost floating past. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like a traditional cartoon ghost flying through the doorway and then something else below it. I'm
Yeah.
like, and it's intriguing. And then you said there was what part was a vape? Because if that's a vape, that's a weird shape for a vape cloud.
No. So whenever at the very end of the clip, you can kind of see the screen kind of go white if he replays it. And I'll explain it. So you can see the guy. So what I personally see, and I'll explain it, and then if he'll replay it.
Well,
So
what you can play it, and you can just tell us as it's playing.
oh, okay, yeah. As it's playing, I'll explain it what I'm
There you
seeing.
go.
So we're not on live here. We're filming for Connor's YouTube here. So I'm just sitting in the pitch black with my IR running. And so this was one of the luckiest captures I think that I could get, right? Like, I mean, and that's just an honest answer. And so whenever I talk about the mortuary, because I watched some of your guys' podcasts with Tori. So there's the spiral stairway that can go upstairs. There's also the stairways that are in the back. Well, that back leads to a garage. Those stairs, they either lead up to the house area or the other side leads over to the embalming room. And so it honestly to me, what it looks like was somebody walked down the stairs. I couldn't see the stairs, obviously, but that's what I imagine in my mind. And there was a man in a suit that walked, and I seen him walk behind Connor through the doorway and almost like it was going into the embalming room.
Okay.
And that's what I seen. But whenever I replayed it and we caught it on film, it was just the floating ghost, and it floated through the doorway and up to the flower room. And that's where we got that gnarly Esta session, was up in that room to where that ghost was floating up to.
Ray, you want to cue that up one more time? Here we go again. I can't hear you.
I wasn't talking.
Oh.
So there that went, and then there goes, and then that right there at the very end was the vape. Like, so there's that goes, and then there's another one that follows, and then right there, boom. That ending part is vape. You see how the smoke kind of comes up after that? That's vape. But the two beforehand, or the one that like that right there, dude, that's crazy. There's another, and that's crazy. So that one got me super excited. It's probably one of the best pieces of evidence that I have of actually seeing something that I called out on camera that I seen walking. I was saying, "Oh, orb." It looked like there was orbs coming out like crazy.
Do yourself a favor when you see something like that. Don't even mutter the word orb. That was a figure.
Yeah, that was an apparition. But
Yeah.
in the beginning of the video, you can see what I was. Or
I don't
okay,
think
go
you
ahead
can
and
see it.
correct my terminology too, please, because I don't want to sound like a fool. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
you just yeah, that's why Zach Bagans doesn't call orbs orbs. He calls them light anomalies.
Yeah,
okay.
Orb's got a bad name.
Yeah, or you say orb, people are going to call bullshit immediately.
Just
That's just
called an orb.
that's just the way it is.
My guess is Brandon couldn't see him on his little screen. Hopefully he'll see him Sunday on the premiere. Like, you can see a couple lights streak up on the corner.
What do you think about it, Ray? Did you think those were orbs?
No, I don't buy into orbs.
Okay. Okay.
You
No,
got to be real careful with orbs, and I've
like
really tamed down on how I explain to people, because I used to just call out people and say they were fucking idiots because they think that's a ghost. But you got to watch out. Anytime you have any kind of a movement, anytime you walk, anytime you breathe, you're gonna blow small dust particles around. And when your camera is focusing on it, especially in the dark or night vision, for even worse, it's gonna reflect off of that, and it's gonna look like it's glowing. So you're gonna get dust particles. You have water molecules in the air, moisture. Lens flare is a big thing. Like when you get the lines,
Yeah.
that a lot of times that's lens flare, just natural photography,
Okay. So I guess let me ask you this. So then do you believe that there's little balls of energy that can just appear? Like, so maybe orb's not the right word, but so whenever you're out investigating, how do you look at things? So I look at things as good energy and negative energy. And I think that whenever you're coming into something like negative energy, I think that if you get like, let me just run my mind real quick. So I
Yeah.
think whenever you get like a ball of negative energy, I think that maybe that's whenever you might get something like poltergeist activity, something as in what somebody would known as a demon, I guess you would say. I don't like to say demon because I think that that's a lot of clickbait. But for me personally, that's why I say a lot of good and negative energy. And so, because even when you're out doing your investigations, I don't know about you, but one of my questions I always ask is this something that means me any type of harm? And so, uh, so at that moment in time, how do you experience, or how do you visualize manifestation of something trying to communicate with you, um, to go through? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
hold on, hold
Okay.
on, hold on. I'm just gonna say real quick before I get shut down. Like for me, an orb is a personal experience. Like I've seen one that I think was unexplainable, but to me, it was just that's my experience. I'm not gonna put that out because it's it's so hard to tell the difference between dust and water and what you see with your own eyes outside the camera. So I don't even talk about orbs. It's just I have seen one that was super bright and like in my vision, not in the camera, it left a long streak of light behind it as it moved off. But I'm not going to say this was evidence and show them a video because they're going to be like, well, that was dust every time, every time. Go ahead, Brandon.
No. All right. First off, I'm going to tell you what I think an actual real orb is.
Okay.
I'm not talking about dust particles. I'm not talking about reflections. I'm not talking about all of the bullshit. A real orb or light anomaly is a spirit. Why it's because, and I've seen a full bodied apparition form into an orb and fly away. So, that being said, it is my belief that that is how they travel. That they travel in orb form because it takes less energy. We'll know they're made out of energy. So they don't want to burn it all up moving around. And they're so fast. They're lightning fast. So it is my belief that an orb can manifest into into a full apparition and vice versa, because that's how they travel, is through these light anomalies. Now, that being said, there's really, in my opinion, the only way you can tell if it's positive energy or negative energy is how they react to you or how they act towards you, what kind of evidence you get towards it. And that we're going down a real deep rabbit hole when we start talking like that. But the other thing is, the only way to prove that a orb is an actual orb or a spirit entity, to me, is if there's something that goes along with it. So if you have the light, let's say, just for instance, you see in your footage, you see an orb come and like fly into somebody's head, and then immediately, without saying anything, nobody says shit, they go, "Oh my god," something, or they do something, they react to it. To me, that's good evidence. But you have to have something that goes along with it. It can't just be a light flying through the screen, because I'm just gonna say that's dust or that's bullshit.
So if it hits the tripwire or if it hits the flux, you would consider that as evidence.
Not necessarily. But there has to be another reaction, and I know where you're going with it. I'm not talking equipment wise. I'm talking person wise.
Oh, okay. I
Like,
follow.
But if it were to, like, if an orb flew into the flux, and those of you who don't know what a flux is, if I'm correct, it's that little triangle thing that's got the red light and a green light on each side on the top, and it's basically used for yes or no answers.
Yeah.
If it were to fly into that and light up green or red instantly and then go off as soon as the ball flew away, sure, maybe that could be something.
All right.
But there has to be something else to make it good evidence. There has to be something else that goes along with it.
So just for shits and giggles, whenever we get off of this, Ray, will you send him over the one? Because I don't think, unless you clipped it in this one, but there's a clip, man, that I didn't know that there was orbs there. It wasn't seen. And I was naming off 3 different things, 3 different people, or I guess male or female. And in this clip, I think that I want to say that there was either 2. There was 2 for sure, or there was 3. And I'm gonna say that. And then, but in the video, it hits the flux. Doo-doo-doo. 3 times. And then whenever I was rewatching it back, you see the orbs fly up. And then whenever I ask that question, you hear the doo-doo-doo 3 times. Crazy. And so, I mean, yeah, so I'm with you on the bugs. I'm with you on all of that stuff. I'm very quick to call out a bug or something like that. And I understand what you're saying about the orbs and people calling it BS and stuff. But that's what I was saying is, for me personally, for me to call it evidence, like you said, it has to trigger something else. Like I might sit there and call out orb or whatever the case may be, but unless and in that period of time we were getting other reactions. That was just a short part of the video. So like I was saying, if you watch the full length of the video of the at Connor Blaine Paranormal, you would see the whole footage of that. And there was also things being triggered at that time, doing things. We had a tripwire out that got a couple hits on it. It was a crazy investigation.
Wow.
Where was that at?
That one was at the one that I seen the ghosts or the whatever it was. That was at Haunted Sleeper Mortuary. One of the clips though that I think that you might have clipped.
And those of you who don't know, Haunted Mortuary is Tori's place. She is on a previous episode of ours.
Yes, amazing host as well. Tori's absolutely amazing.
She knows what she's doing.
Absolutely, 100%.
I think the last one I have on here, which we're about out of time, is. Well, let me look.
Oh,
Let me turn this one off. This one is, I just got a hit is what I have it called. I have no idea what it is.
any spirits here? Can you shut that door behind Connor? Oh, dude, I just had 2 orbs fly up, bro. Another one just flew by you. Oh my gosh. Spirit, is that you trying to manifest in front of me? Got a hit. Let's go.
Got a hit.
Okay, so you had 2 things happen there. You asked them to interact with that door, and that's where it appeared.
Yeah. So that was right before. So those questions and that hit on the tripwire was right before we caught that big one coming through there. So that was really cool. And then I have another one that I caught in a barbershop, but we can talk about that one if you want to as well, because that one was a little crazy for me. And that's why I was asking, if you see the orbs, you ask it if that's you trying to manifest in front of me, because I keep calling orbs. Connor's calling bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And so then I ask, like, is that you trying to manifest in front of me? And it hits the tripwire. That's, to me, that's pretty good. That's just my personal opinion.
I liked it.
I'm not a big tripwire fan, but it was pretty good.
That's just because you don't have one. I'm jealous too.
I will never buy one.
Can I ask why?
No.
Okay. Okay.
I'll tell
Fair
you when we stop recording.
Okay.
Secret.
It's, you should know, Ray. I've told you
I
100
do.
times.
I know.
Those of you who are watching are going to be pissed, but that's just too bad.
All right, this last one I got from you is called Devil's Hour.
Oh, this one was cool too.
I like this one. It was cool.
This is more proof of apps. I just like to say that.
I know Brandon's going to have something to say about this one, so let's go.
Oh, well, here we go.
For sure. For sure. For sure. I already know, but it's okay.
Oh, shrink? No, it said shriek. But then, well, what time is that? Well, I know, but I want to know what they say. Spirit, tell me what time the devil's hour is. 3. Oh, dude, no bullshit. What? I already called it. Look, so let's shoot. Let's go.
That was pretty good. Come on, Brandon.
Well, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm like, I'm trying to
be blunt.
I don't know what to say. If I was, let me give it to you 2 different ways.
Yeah.
If I was a full out believer in everything that I heard, I would be all on board with that. Absolutely. You get in 2 consecutive reactions dealing with the same question, which is unheard of. Okay. But the fact that it is an app and they talk about it was the first to mention the devil's hour or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Of course it's going to say 3 o'clock afterwards, because that's in the app too. Do you know what I mean? So that's not uncommon for it to do that. So it all depends on how you look at it. You know, do you want to, if you want to believe in it, you can, and there's evidence there to support that. But if you're a skeptic and don't believe much in apps, it's easy to call bullshit on it too. So I see it from both ways.
For sure. I just thought it was pretty ironic that my buddy says 3, and I said, no, I want to hear the Spirit say it. Tell me what time.
Right.
And it says 3.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. I hear you. So I can see how someone would get super excited watching that, and I can also see somebody like, oh,
100%.
do you know what I'm saying? And to be honest, I'm not sure which side of that fence I'm on. You know what I mean? I think I got 1 foot on each side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and it's awful painful in the middle.
Yeah.
But no, it's cool. Just off topic, and I know I gotta ask, do you know why they call 3 o'clock the devil's hour?
I have no idea. I know it's the witching. I know. I have no idea why they would call it the witching hour.
All right. So the reason that they called 3 o'clock the witching hour is because Jesus Christ was crucified supposedly at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So they used 3 o'clock p.m. or a.m. as the opposite. So that would be the devil's hour.
Crazy.
So,
cool. Yeah.
So from 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. is the holy hour. And then 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. is the devil's hour.
No shit. Okay. So
Yeah.
so then that would make sense. And so I understand what you're saying too about the apps, and I'm not going to defend them, but I am going to say though that like those string of things, I use these apps a lot. those strings of events don't happen with me too often. That's why you see the excitement and
Sure.
stuff like that. So for it to say, I mean, it comes through, like demons and all this other stuff, and it doesn't follow up with like a demonic name. You know what I mean? So you would think that if it was programmed in that kind of way, that would be the way it led. At least that's just my personal belief. So that's the way I look at it. So if it was to be like the devil's hour, and then you ask it to say, well, tell me what time the devil's hour is, and it says 3. In my opinion, and it's like you said, it's everybody's beliefs and it's apps.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, that's something communicating with you at that moment in time. And then, like you said, that's why I say the 70-30, but to me, that's part of the 70% of the time.
That's cool. Man, I'll say like the reason I picked the ones I did to show tonight is I think it showed how much you have respect for what you're doing. Obviously, like we heard it a couple of times. Thank you, to the spirits, whatever you think you're talking to. The last one showed like you're trying to ask questions without, like when your buddy, whoever it was, was a
That was Randy.
Randy said 3, you're like, no, 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 I want to hear. That reminds me of myself when I'm on investigation with my other 2 guys, and I'll ask a question, they're over there whispering the answer. It's like, no, I want something authentic where there's no chance that it heard anything else. Like, I just wanted to kind of show people that watch the podcast that I think you're going to be a pretty good investigator. I think you already are, but
I appreciate that.
I'll second that. I think you got the makings of a very good investigator.
I think
I think you're gonna need a little bit more under your belt. You know what I mean? A little bit more experience, but I think you got a hell of a start.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
I hope you've had fun tonight. I know you've kind of been on the hot seat a little bit. That's just how it is.
Dude, this
hope you had a
has
good
been fucking fantastic.
Awesome. Hopefully everybody that's watching gives you a follow if they aren't already. Go check him out. He does some fun investigations. I think you guys will like it. There's no bullshit. He's not faking. So definitely give him a follow.
I appreciate you.
All right. Well, I guess that's going to wrap it up for episode 6 for Paranormal Watchtower. Thanks to everybody for coming in. Thank you, Jolly, for joining us and taking me down a trip down memory lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
It was fun. And now I'm going to ask you this. In a year and a half, I'd like you to come back. And I'd like you to tell us how things have changed between now and then.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited. I'll definitely come back as long as you guys will have me, and I'll talk to you guys about a little bit of stuff off of here too as well, and we'll see. Hopefully you guys can help me out. Much love to you guys, man.
Yeah, and hopefully maybe when we're at doing some investigating in the sleeper mortuary, or if I'm out by Atchison and you're there, man, maybe we can hook up, do an investigation together.
Yeah, if you guys ever want to come to Colorado.
You probably haven't seen dual Estes method yet.
We actually finished ours with a dual Estes method at Garnett, man. And so I haven't actually seen the outcome of that. So I'm really excited to see. Connor told me that it was great evidence. So I'm really excited to see that.
That's trademark. So you're going to owe Brandon the dual Estes.
Well, yeah, I don't want to make any claims, but I didn't see anybody do it before we did it back in October of 21.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was pretty cool.
But whatever. So again, thank you very much for coming in. This is going to end our episode for Paranormal Watchtower. Again, thank everybody for coming in and watching us. Until next week, have a great week, and we will see you then. Jolly, we'll see you soon.
Yeah,
have a great night.
Night, everybody. Thanks, Jolly.
Bye, guys.